Coming out of WrestleMania weekend, Wrestling Observer newsletter, man. First we had Dave Meltzer, had to admit that AEW isn't cool. Now we got Bryan Alvarez. He's got to admit that the AEW fan base are the worst on the internet and that they're obstinate and they're thick-headed and they're so resistant to change. Shout out to, we'll give a shout out to who created the clip later, because I don't have them in my mind right now. But we're going to play the clip that Bryan Alvarez is very frustrated with AEW fans.
It's like, I really want AEW to succeed. And like, I see these things that happen all the time, and like, they're little things that add up. But I always bang heads with these absolute hardcore AEW fans who want like nothing to change. Like everything is fine and everything is good. And why do we need, this is a big one, why do we need video packages?
He looks verklempt about this whole video packages thing. He's about to go on a whole 6-minute rant about video packages. And I'm not going to go through this entire thing. But the shout outs is for at lifer_WWE. He's the individual who clipped this part for us. And Alvarez is 100% correct. They have been resistant to anything for 5 years. This is how the fan base is terrible.
It's okay for the announcer to just say something. I don't want video packages. I don't want to be hammered. It's just like, God, come on, man. Like, this is basic common sense business to like have video packages on all your shows in case people missed it, okay? I know you who are arguing with me never misses a show. I know you who are arguing with me, if you do miss a show, you find some way to go back and, okay, that's not everybody, and that's not even most people.
He's absolutely true, especially if in your 40s or your late 30s or whatever. You got kids, family, wife, whatever happens. You might miss parts of a show. You might, things happen. Not everybody is going to be anchored for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours to their couch. I mean, it's not realistic. It ain't realistic. WWE overdoes it with the video packages. I mean, they definitely overdo it. AEW, not nearly enough.
You understand? This guy today, now I'm off. He says to me, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
He is yelling.
I was arguing about why we needed video packages for Roppongi Vice. Apparently, like, they reunited and turned heel, and like, I missed one show. I have no idea what's going on.
How about a video package about who the fuck Roppongi Vice even is? Because I don't even know who that is. Is it a person? Matter of fact, let me think about it for a second. I think it's a tag team. But see, that's the stuff like Roppongi Vice. I don't know who that is. Like, I watch everything. Heavens to Betsy, I can't keep track of all of the wrestlers that have ever existed. And I don't know, this probably happened on Collision, which is what it seems like he's about to say. And nobody watches Collision, so I don't know, get real.
And he says, for God's sake, use your TV time to reward your viewers who are watching, not to catch up the people who may have missed the show because it was WrestleMania week. Okay.
What? Whoever Bryan Alvarez is talking to is an absolute idiot. Whoever he's responding to is an idiot. Every wrestling company that did a show did video packages because they assumed that WrestleMania week might have been the first time you're checking them out, especially the GCW shows. A lot of those shows had video packages to let you know what had happened in previous shows, if those shows were relevant to the current show. Or they'll have a highlight package if the wrestler is fairly new or something like that. But they didn't do that all the time. It was like a 100%. We're not saying here like these wrestling companies had great production value. But they were aware that WrestleMania weekend was an opportunity to be seen and likely be seen by people who don't usually see them.
Bro,
come on.
Listen, first off, that's passive-aggressive behavior, okay?
True.
So the promotion is supposed to be like, oh, you skipped our show for another show. Well, screw you. We're not gonna tell you what happened. You know, you should have watched our show. that to me as a fan makes me feel like, dude, really? Like, there was a lot of shows that weekend. I had other stuff. I'm not cheating on you. There's other stuff that I had to watch, dude. Like, if the angle's important, like, do a replay or whatever.
I'm not cheating on you, but you are. You are cheating, Bryan Alvarez. You're seeing someone else. They want all of your attention, all of your love. Jesus Christ. These people, I told you it's a cult, right? We've been saying it's a cult for a long time. This is cult behavior. Thou shalt have no other gods but me.
And then the other thing is, here's the thing about, yes, you should reward your fans. You should, your loyal fans are loyal fans and everything like that. But let me tell you, this isn't wrestling, guys. This is business, okay? You own a business, and X number of customers visit your business regularly, okay? They're regular customers, okay? No matter how well you treat them, if you have 500 customers, okay, regular customers, over the course of 5 years, you will not have those same 500 customers anymore, okay? Some of them are going to die. Some of them are going to move. Some of them, no matter how loyal they are, they're going to find another store nearby. And so no matter what business you have, no matter how many customers or clients or whatever you have, you will always slowly be losing them.
Okay. He's making a really good point. I don't really feel the need to add anything to this. He's right. But this is what we've been saying for a long time. This is a wrestling problem in general, though. I mean, I think the comic book industry has been having a big problem with this, getting new fans in. So, but that's the only thing I really want to add. I think he's doing a good job, actually.
Replace them with new customers, you will go out of business. You will slowly trickle down and your business will die.
Hold on. The word replace it's a good word for those who have, passed on or moved on to other hobbies and projects. But the great replacement is kind of triggering because we've seen that in other spaces where they're trying to, run people off on purpose in order to replace them with other fans that are more what the company wants. The company wants to try to pick their fandom, and I just want to be clear that I'm not supporting the idea of the companies trying to pick their fandom, but I do agree that they need to be prioritizing growth.
There's one at the bottom of the hill. It's called Rite Aid, okay? The same people have been going to this Rite Aid for 75 years. I wandered in there the other day. There's no one there under the age of 75. They're all the same old people. Rite Aid is not getting new young people to go to their store. And you know what? The store will remain in business until, tragically, those people die, and then they will have no other customers, okay?
Ironically, the Rite Aid near my house just closed. It was very ironic that he would mention Rite Aid and use Rite Aid as an example when the Rite Aid near my house literally just closed like a month ago. It's crazy. And that's the truth, though. This is facts.
I don't care how much you like AEW. You are slowly going to lose viewers. And if you don't replace them with new viewers, the show will trickle into death, okay?
That is facts. But this also means you don't want the show to look the same forever as well. You don't want this show to look like it's been encased in amber and there's no increased production value. There's no, shuffling of the talent. There's a lot of little things you can do to progress your company and progress your production and progress your company. The AEW looks a little bit better by running smaller buildings because the buildings look more full and the crowd is more active. But typically speaking, one episode of Dynamite is almost indistinguishable from the others, and that is becoming the same thing with WWE as well.
Hey, now, how do you get new viewers to watch the show? Well, if they miss a show, you help bring them up to speed. If they miss an angle, you help bring them up to speed. You don't punish them for missing a show. You don't say, you know what, you should have watched over Mania weekend, or you should have flown home on Tuesday and found a way to watch Collision so you know what happens. You don't act passive-aggressive to the people who are not the die-hard fans.
For starters, you need to recognize that they're canceling Collisions. Like, people are not paying to even go to Collision, okay? They're canceling Collision tapings as we speak, right? So you need to accept that just people are not watching that show. Unless you're going to force them to watch it at gunpoint, they're probably not going to watch that show. And part of the reason why they don't watch that show is because you don't review anything that happens on the show. You don't even talk about the matches that are going to be on the show. You will have a wrestler talk about, I'm going to have a match on Collision, but then you'll never tell us what the outcome was. If something happens, there's an injury angle or something like that, they don't replay it. This is exactly what he's talking about. You don't give us a reason to watch Collision. But part of that is because you don't do anything important on Collision. That's one of the reasons why people don't watch it. People stop watching shows when they realize nothing important happens on the show. The reason why people became attracted to SmackDown rather than Thunder is because things would happen on SmackDown that affected what happened on Raw or would affect the pay-per-view. Sometimes Thunder would do that, but the less and less Thunder became relevant, the more people stopped caring about it. The same could be said for WCW Saturday Night and all the other B and C shows. The WWF will always try to make these B and C shows important by saying this is what happened on Shotgun Saturday Night or whatever the case may be. But over time, they stopped doing that. And the moment they stopped doing that, it became a show where you go see Bradshaw versus Kai and Tai. You know, Takamichinoku. You're like, I don't want to watch this. Why am I watching this? Some people like watching that kind of stuff. Other people got other things to do. You turned Collision, you being Tony Khan, turned Collision into a show nobody wants to watch. So people don't watch it. It has nothing to do with WrestleMania. Look at the ratings for the fucking show. Again, they're canceling shows, and the ratings for the show are very low, which means we already know people are choosing not to watch the show. You should recap it. Here's what you missed. Here's why you should watch Collision live. He's right. Bryan Alvarez is correct.
Yes, if you're a hardcore fan, you can give them a little extra or whatever, treat them right, but you must create a new audience. You must presume every show, your goal is to create a new fan.
You should also treat every show like it's the first show somebody's ever seen. That's how it operates. Every show should reset the characters and tell people what's going on, why this is happening, who's wrestling who and why. Video packages help with that because you can relay a lot of information very quickly. It doesn't take a lot of time. It can be excessive if there's a lot, but for the most part, you want to give the fans as much information as possible.
That's it. Why is this even an argument?
Because people are stupid.
There's a reason that WWE now is significantly larger than they were in 2019. They didn't just please the fans they had in 2019. In 2019, they were losing fans hand over fist. So they found a way to not only replace the fans that they lost, but also create new fans on top of that. So if they had 1,000 fans, I'm just using an easy number, and they've lost 500 of them over the last 6 years, they not only have got 500 new fans to replace those people, but they've created another 500 new fans on top of that because now they have 1,500 fans, okay? So
I want to, for the record, Bryan Alvarez has been running with this WWE was dying in 2019 gimmick because a couple of shows didn't do well. I think that maybe shows like Stomping Grounds didn't do well or whatever. It was far from getting ready to go out of business. So I think you're overplaying it too much, But It's a good analogy. If you want to use a down period for WWF in 1995, 2019, those are really good opportunities. But let's not overplay our hand like the company was on the verge of going under, which he makes it sound like all the time, which is ridiculous.
How did they do that? Well, every show. You're led by the hand because you may be a new viewer on any given day. I miss a show here and there. Like, I missed last week's NXT. I missed a show, but like I have no question what's going on because they told me everything when I tuned in on the next show.
That's smart. I mean, WWE just runs a more professional ship. They realize what's going on here, and they do hold the fans' hands. But because they do that, it's easier to get involved. It's easier for people to follow. It's more difficult to follow if nobody knows what the hell is going on. If every episode is blue sky, everything ends at the end, and then the beginning of the next episode creates a whole new plot, but there might be details within the episode that you have to have seen 3 or 4 weeks ago to know what's going on, then that's a problem. And there used to be TV shows like that where there are certain details that would build over time that you had to have watched episodes from the previous year or 2-3 weeks prior. And that's a good reward for those who have been watching the show. But it's terrible for people who are trying to get in because they don't understand what's going on.
Unlike AEW, where oftentimes I miss one show, not even Dynamite, a Collision. I miss one show, and then next time I watch the show, I'm like, Trent's back? He's a heel? No, it's not enough to say Trent and Rocky reunited on. They did? I even asked Dave, I said, what happened? He goes, they got involved in a match afterwards. I was like, against who? He goes, I don't remember. It was against, he's like trying to remember what happened.
That's because it wasn't important, right? All right, so that's the end of the rant. I actually feel bad for Bryan Alvarez because, look, I miss a lot of collisions. But when I watch Dynamite, I never feel like I missed anything. So I actually don't even feel bad for Bryan Alvarez in this instance because ultimately, you missed a collision. It was unimportant. I know that it's your job to know the details of things and to watch everything. But maybe you should take some of that stress off yourself. You don't have to watch everything. You just don't. You've been doing this thing a long time. I've been doing it for 5 years now. I already accept that I can't watch everything. It's just not possible. It's a wrestling overload. It's too many shows a week. All right? Give yourself a break. Just decide Roppongi Vice, not important. They're back, so what? Trent's back, who cares? That's just a heuristic that I use. Unless, fucking John Cena shows up on Collision, it ain't worth my time. Because I can tell you right now, Tony Khan is not changing any belts on Collision that matters. Nobody that matters is showing up on Collision. None of the matches are going to matter. So I don't need to watch that show. So just easy heuristic. Now, you want to watch major shows because you never know what's going to happen. That's when things might happen. The pay-per-views, some of the dynamites. That's when things might happen. Collision, nothing of importance are going to happen. Oh, Roppongi Vice is back. Who the fuck is that? Trent's back. Huge star, Trent Beretta. Just do yourself a favor, man. Realize that some of this stuff just ain't worth following. It just ain't important. So arguing with these hardcores is pointless. Not only because they're obstinate and thick-headed, but because you're arguing over, why didn't you tell me Trent and Rocky Romero are back together? Who the fuck cares, man? Who cares? Who gives a shit? They're not going to do anything important on your show. They're not going to do anything important on the show, period. They're goons. That would be like me, putting messages in Millennial Smart. Why didn't you tell me Jamie Noble was working backstage? Like, get the fuck out of here. Who cares? That ain't even important. I don't give a fuck who the producers are. I don't give a fuck about these people. Now, if you were skipping major shows, okay. Which sometimes people do that anyway. They just don't feel like watching it. But you missed a collision and you got to argue with people about it? That's just nuts. And you're nuts for doing it. But I'm glad Bryan Alvarez is smartening up. He's really learning. The fan base, not good. And it's been like this for 5 years. Not good. Very not good. All right, like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.